Oftentimes, I find I get asked, what is conscious parenting? How is it different from other parenting? And what is it really all about? So I thought maybe we'd take a few minutes today and break it down. So, first of all, let's talk about the word consciousness and what that means, because it means different things to different people. Obviously, in the physical sense, we're all conscious right now because we're not unconscious. But that's not really what we mean or what I mean when I talk about conscious parenting. So, to me, being a conscious parent is more about being super present and highly focused in the present moment, and at the same time being detached from any specific outcome. Now, not to be confused with not caring about an outcome. I care deeply about many things related to parenting and related to my children, but I'm not attached to those outcomes, meaning I don't have a death grip on a specific outcome, and I re- respond mindfully, thoughtfully, purposefully to every moment as it is presented in my life. So let's dig a little bit deeper into what that means. We all come from a certain paradigm of parenting. The vast majority of us were raised through what we call a traditional parenting model. The traditional parenting model assumes that the parent is in many ways better than the child. The parent is older, more mature, more experienced, more knowledgeable, educated. So the parent is at the top of the pyramid, and perhaps even there's grandparents above that. And the child is at the bottom. The child is the one that needs to be taught everything. The child comes to us like a blank canvas, and it's our job to mold that child into what will at some point become a functioning, successful, thriving, happy adult. Conscious parenting takes a different view on that. Conscious parenting views the parent and the child as both teacher and student at the same time. So we have to learn from our children just as much as they have to learn from us, and truthfully, probably more. Now, the reason we get tripped up into this hierarchical model is because when our children come into the world, they're so dependent upon us for their survival, right? We have to feed them, clothe them, take care of them, or they will die. They know that, and we know that. So, in that sense, yes, we have more power over them because it's our responsibility and it's our power to take care of them. However, when we talk about conscious parenting, we're looking beneath the surface of the physical world. We're actually looking on a deeper level, on a spiritual, energetic level, if you will. I know that sounds a little woo-woo to some of you, but you could look at it as an energetic connection between the parent and the child. And at that level, the child is not less than the parent. The child is actually the vehicle for the parent's self development, for the parent's growth, for the parent's awakening. And so, in order to really do the conscious parenting work, you have to be able to see your child as your awakener. You have to see your child as your teacher. And so, conscious parenting really changes the traditional paradigm of parenting, and it kind of flips it on its head. And I know many of us have come from backgrounds where we've had loving families. Some of us have had traumatic experiences as children, some of us have not. Some of us have come from loving, stable homes where our parents are still married, our parents are happy, we're well educated, very well meaning. Parenting is super important to us. In fact, a large part of our identity is attached to how well we think we're doing as parents. And we have created loving, stable homes to whatever degree. And yet, something's missing. Despite the fact that we've checked off a lot of boxes, something is missing. Now, what is that thing? That thing is connection. It's authentic connection. First and foremost, to ourselves. Then also to our children. And so conscious parenting is really the work that allows us to connect first and foremost with ourselves in order for us to be able to connect with another human being, and in this case, our children. So in order to kind of elaborate on that or explain that in a way that may be easier to understand, let me tell you a short story, I promise short, about how I came into conscious parenting. So when I was 39, I had twin boys, and I labeled one of them as easy and one of them as difficult. The difficult one, I'm saying it with quotes because I don't use that label anymore, was hard to soothe, was very sensitive, prone to meltdowns. I couldn't control, operative word, control. I couldn't control this kid. I couldn't predict when he was gonna go off. Every little thing could have set him off. I had a hard time predicting. I couldn't prevent his meltdowns. And when they happened, I couldn't stop them. It would take 20 minutes to stop a meltdown over nothing. Well, what I categorized as nothing. And that was super frustrating. It made me feel like I wasn't a good mom. It made me feel like something was wrong with my kid. And I started seeking out professional opinions on what is going on and how do I fix this kid. And it wasn't until I started doing work through conscious parenting that I understood why I was labeling my child as difficult, what was triggering within me to witness my child tantruming seemingly out of control, how that was triggering me, and what work did I need to do on myself in order to not get triggered. Because it's while I was triggered, I could not truly support my child. I could not give my child what they needed in that moment and outside of that moment, because all I could see was my own trigger, how I was not a good parent, how this reflected on me, how he was embarrassing me by being difficult. If you've ever experienced something like that, you know what I mean. You know how frustrating and really torturous it is to not be able to solve your child's problem, to not be able to fix it. And so what I had to learn through conscious parenting is not only the source of my own pain, but also how to tolerate my own pain, my own discomfort. And through that, I was able to then support my child the way they needed to be supported. And I can tell you now, fast forward 8 years, I would never in a million years say that that child is difficult. That is not a word that crosses my mind when I think about him. And he still has many of the same qualities he did when I was labeling him difficult. But what's changed is how I'm viewing it and how I'm handling it. And now I see his brilliance and his gifts. And so when we work on conscious parenting, when you work with me or a conscious parenting coach, or when you research it online, the things that we delve into are our cultural conditionings around what it means to be a parent, what it means to be a child, how things should be. We talk about our beliefs, our values. We talk about the patterns we inherited from our parents, the way we grew up, and how we are dumping them onto our children without even considering if they resonate with us. And we talk a lot about the emotional baggage that we carry with us and continue to project onto our children. So, conscious parenting is really not about strategy, it's not about tips or tricks, it's about deeper work. And because it's deeper and more profound, it requires courage, so it's not for everyone, but it creates lifelong change. It's not about a short-term fix, put out the fire. That's what most parenting books and strategies are about. Just put out this fire. But guess what? That fire comes back in a different form, in a different dress, but it comes back until you deal with it at the root level. And that is really what conscious parenting can do for you. So I hope that this little mini video has answered some questions. I hope it's made some stuff clear. And if you're interested, keep following. I'll share more. In the meantime, have a good one.